current events. So I know last week the announcement was made that Trump was going to be indicted, but as of Tuesday, he was indicted. So for the second time. This time on federal charges, I think 37 counts. He did plead not guilty. This is not a civil case, like the case that he just came out of and had to settle for $5 million, I think it was, and I think she's about to take him back to court because maybe the night after he was still talking about her, defaming her name, and so I guess he didn't get enough with that. But so Dion, I know you were reporting on some things you saw with that indictment. Like I know he went in, did they fingerprint the president? What they do?
Oh yeah, they fingerprints all the people that got to go through. He got to do it. Well, he just did a walkthrough. You know what I'm saying? We go down and stayed for a few nights. You know what I'm saying? When we had to go, he literally walked through and walked back out. Now we stand until they decide to let us go. So, that therein lies the difference when you ain't got no money. But anywho.
We got to stay, he get to play.
Okay, I'm talking about literally walked in, shook some hands, took some pictures. They did a formality, took his pictures and fingerprints, and he back out the door.
Wow. That's convenient because in normal people cases, especially don't get caught on no Friday.
Oh man.
You're gonna be there till Monday.
Maybe even when you will see the judge on Monday, but you not probably getting out till Tuesday or Wednesday because they got to process you out. It's still a process. That's about a 24-hour process in and of itself for you to just process out. You feel me? After they said, if you see the judge on Monday and he says, okay, this is that and blah, 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 and, time served, you still probably getting out Tuesday. Because the process is so long to actually your paperwork to go through the system for you to actually swing and hit the door. So it's not a quick thing. It's not like see the judge, okay, I release you and you boom out the door right then. Oh no, baby. Oh no. But I was watching.
He was though. He was in and out.
I'm talking about literally, he was not held at all. He probably wasn't even frisked. He probably had 2 pistols on him. I don't know. But, he had a pistol each side of his jacket. They didn't even check him. He in there just parading around. Probably had on a vest and everything, man. His motorcade was going down the street, and one of them old Secret Service men, one of the guys came out of the crowd. He had a sign. He got right in front of the lead SUV. Man, he pushed him so hard. I said, ooh, man, he to turn that dude to flip. He pushed him hard into the crowd, and then the police came and got him and cuffed him up and took him off. See, he was not going to do a walkthrough. That dude, he going to jail.
He gonna spend some time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now I think I saw a picture of something. Did he have on a black and white jumpsuit, jail suit or something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch that video if you get a chance.
Yeah,
he got a good chest push. Yeah, that Secret Service, he pressed him into the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're making light of it, but again, to me, it's a sad thing to see. Overall, I don't think I ever even considered or thought about a president or someone in that high in leadership, going through this process. It's just
real. It's real.
Yeah. It just speaks to the condition of the country as a whole. The country as a whole is really morally bankrupt and really in a state of disarray. And that was evident by electing this man as the leader of the free world. I mean, that said it all when he was elected. And then, knowing his past and his proclivity for, making power moves and throwing tantrums and things of that nature, that fit right into who he was, to get these documents and decide, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to do what I want to do. I can do this because I am who I am. And that just goes to show you where we've come from. Too many people feel too entitled and too free to do too many things, and he's just a representation of that. And so there is no surprise in me for this situation, because it has been brewing for the longest, and this is the result of it. And I'm anxious to see what this next debacle or election is going to be, because it's a farce at this point. We're so far off kilter that I don't know if we can bring it back. It's going to take a like. I mean, we headed for the Antichrist. That's all I can tell you.
And I mean, I'm glad you went there, but so let me ask this: like, is he right though?
Is who right?
Trump.
Is who right?
Because Trump. I mean, at this point, like he feels untouchable. He feels like, I can do X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. Like, we had the Russia hoax and or what he calls fake news and all of these different things. But to this point, like, yes, he's been impeached twice, but what's an impeachment when you can still go for presidency again? Like, what accountability or has happened today really that says, nah, you shouldn't be able to do all of this? You know what I mean? Or you shouldn't have that. And then, I think the follow-up to that question is, there's so many people that support that still. You know what I mean? Like, that are willing to overlook it. And more importantly, Christians. I mean, that's what always surprises me. Like,
so-called.
Layman's.
So-called.
Oh, okay. So-called.
So-called Christians.
I'm again, I don't have a heaven or hell to put nobody in, but, it just, to your point, I think it does kind of show the state of the world's morality right now. To a certain extent, when people who aren't Christians or people who aren't believers, seem to try to have more morality in certain areas than we do. I think that's a problem. That's that looks, the optics isn't really good with that. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
But, I mean, is he right? Like, it's just that's where we are. I mean, because that's what I think Trump did. Like, Trump showed, like, pulled back like this cover and showed like what the heart of America was. Like, up until that point, like, of course there was, still racism, and things of different things. But now people are just vocal about it. You know what I mean? Like, they feel emboldened and empowered to make sure that whatever their opinions, good, bad, or indifferent, are heard in a very divisive way. So I know God takes everything and He has a plan for everything. You know what I mean? So I just wonder if that was one of those things, just to really kind of show us how far away from God we really are. When it comes to that, because
it's out there. I think it's been like this. I mean, we've been for many, many years seeing people, seemingly and literally get away with murder in this country, as far as the judicial system, and it's just been those kind of people getting away with it, and other kind of people not getting away with it, and receiving quicker and stiffer punishments, just across the board. I mean, it's just same old systemic racism at its best. You know what I'm saying? I mean, out there living large and in full charge. So This is not anything, new. Like, I think the emboldenedness and people speaking out about it more, I think that kind of is an uptick, but it's been there. I mean, being from the South or whatever, racists have always, kind of spoke their mind about kind of how they feel about different things. Some of them, especially older ones, they'll tell you quick, what it is. And so, I don't see a whole lot of difference, like I said, outside of the fact that people are even more demonstrative about, what they feel about, different racial issues and different political situations and things like that now than they were before. So
Yeah, it is kind of rough though, because we live here in this country, and it's like a lot of times when you get this far gone, most of the time it's only traumas that make us come alive and get back to humanity and find out what's really important. And I say it, but it's like when the sun is shining, we need to see about one another. But it seems like trauma pulls people together. And I'm hoping with all the plots going on with all the other nations against us, because America's not well liked. Like, with all the trauma in other countries, they don't care for us. Like, they don't like our democracy. A lot of people want to take us over and want us to be like them, be controlled. And it seems like we headed that way. We don't like our democracy ourselves. So you put in laws to suppress certain groups of people, pass on laws to do certain things. And I'm just afraid to take a trauma to reset everything. And it's like, well, what does that trauma look like? And that's bad. We're going to lose lives in the trauma. Are we going to lose, what happens when a reset has to happen? And when you get so far off, God's not going to just stand by and just let you do anything you want to do. It's like having a bad kid. He's not just going to let you just do whatever you want to do. You're going to get a whooping. The whoopings, the problem is you don't know what casualties are involved and what kind of trauma it'll take to get our focus back on God and off of stuff that don't mean anything.
We definitely need to continue to pray for our country. And I mean, the road that we're on, and so here's what I would say, right? Revelations tells a lot about the last days. And I know in previous shows we've talked about some of those birthing things, some of the things we're seeing that are kind of end of the time things. And, who knows, like maybe, the type of season that we're going through is kind of ushering that type of end. When you think about America, we've been a superpower. We've been a leading nation for, hundreds of years. And, seen as that. And so over the last couple of years, I know that status is shaky. It's shaky like
definitely.
the American dollar right now. And, I think people are looking at our leadership and not feeling any type of what's the word I'm talking, confidence or,
right.
Definitely not afraid, and there's so much, going on underhandedly.
It is behind the scenes.
And so, we always bring it back to, what does the church have to do with that, right? And, I know we ended the show last week just reminding people that, as a church, we are ambassadors to this earth, so, it's important for us to be and do what God has, called us to do.
That's right.
Regardless of what, country we stay in, what that status is, and we should be stable no matter what. You know what I mean? When the world is like, being shaken, being pulled to and fro, like, the God that we serve, and like He's a firm foundation. Like, being connected to Him, we shouldn't have to waver like that.
Right.
So, I'm praying that, our mentality is to become, more unified in that and really, do our part from that standpoint, because a lot of the issues, a lot of the social issues, cultural issues, stem from, probably, and I'd say for a couple of decades, the church really not being where it needed to be, as it stands in those type of things, where we kind of let politics, try to be the strong arm for our views and things like that, or be a representation for our views. And politics is not it's not structured. Even a democratic system is not structured to support God's will. It's not like whether you're Democrat or Republican, there's going to always be some vice there, or be some I think obstacles, to what God really wants to see happen in this earth and what man wants to see happen. And as long as you have money and backers and lobbyists and people who have a say, to Dion's point, like if you got money, like you have influence to push whatever kind of narrative you want. That always kind of muddies the water. And I think as Christians we got to be more careful with that and do what we do. Like we're way more powerful than any government on this earth. So
you better say it.
So some happy news. I was just reading an article. I know Lasagna sent me a note last night, but then I was reading this article. Tyler Perry is now the owner of 2 TV studios.